Today we're going to be talking about home shopping tips for first-time home buyers. Honestly, whether you're a first-time home buyer or this is your 15th purchase, these tips can help you when you're looking for a house. The world is at our fingertips, right? You've got realtor.com, you've got Zillow.com, you've got your real estate agent sending stuff. There's so much information. And what I see a lot of is information overload. And look, I've been victim of it too. I'm actually looking at buying a house right now, and I can tell you it's really easy to go into a rabbit hole where suddenly you're looking in different places, you're trying to figure out like, oh, can I qualify for, $1 million more, whatever the number is, right? Because of the way you're searching. So today I want to talk to you about a couple little tricks that I do when I'm looking for a house that I think are really going to help you. The first thing is, are the sellers crazy, right? That's a question a lot of buyers ask me is they're like, these listing prices, like where do sellers get listing prices from, okay? They make them up. I can't say that enough. Like so many listing prices are made up. Now, you may go, well, wait a second, real estate agents have a duty and an ethical code where they have to market it at what they perceive fair value. Yeah, or what the seller wants, right? And there's a lot of sellers that go, oh, that's great. You think it's worth 400, I want 6. If you want my business listed at 6. And the real estate agent does it because they're like, maybe I can work them down with price reductions, okay? Or they're like, maybe we'll find a sucker, right? So you need to know that as a buyer. I was talking to a gal today and she was like, well, do people come up with the price based on what they need to make out of the house to buy another house? Sometimes, but sometimes literally they just want a specific number. Or sometimes they do go with what the real estate agent suggests. And sometimes what the real estate agent suggests is the correct number. Now, what you're going to see if you're like, wow, that house went fast, it's priced appropriately. That's the thing. Whenever you start seeing houses that have been on the market 60 plus days, there's something wrong with the house or it's a price issue, right? It's that simple. And people could be like, oh, it's normal for it to sit for 90, 120 days. No, if something's priced well, like people think there aren't a lot of buyers out there, but there are. There's a lot of pent-up buyer demand. So here's a quick way to see. I love Zillow, okay? I use realtor.com too, but if I'm trying to get the down low on a seller or what's going on in an area, I will go to Zillow, and what I'm gonna do is this. First of all, I'm gonna identify my area. I'm going to draw, you know how you can draw? I'm gonna draw around that area. I'm gonna look at where the housing prices are, right? And specifically, if I'm looking at a specific house, let's say it's listed at $500,000, I'm gonna go, okay, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2,000 square feet, it's $500,000, okay? I'm gonna keep my map with that drawing, and now I'm gonna flip to sold. That's right. So a lot of people don't play with the sold button on Zillow, but it's great because what I can identify is, okay, has anything in this neighborhood sold for 500K before that's this size? And sometimes, like I was looking at a neighborhood just last night, and I was really hoping that I was gonna hit that sold button and it was gonna be a lot lower. I hit the sold button and I was like, oh no, this is priced appropriately, So look, sometimes you're gonna look at it and go, okay, that is what stuff is selling for here. But what I'll see sometimes with clients is we do that and we're like, oh my God, there'll be a house listed at 500,000. There may not be other houses for sale right now in that area. And when you flip it to sold, you'll see that nothing ever was over 300. So then the real question is, okay, if you're working with a real estate agent, can you pull comparable sales for this house? Because ultimately you are going to need an appraisal. So you want them to pull comparable sales to see if there's something that Zillow missed. But honestly, their data is pretty good. Like, don't click the button for the agent. Those people are giving their soul to Zillow. Don't click Zillow Mortgage, but use the data, okay? I've had it where 500K is the price, nothing sold over 300K. So even if the buyer's like, I want that house though, okay, but like, here's the thing. When we get the appraisal, if it comes in low, you're either gonna be paying the difference, you're gonna be negotiating with the seller, or you're gonna be canceling. So it's a great way to see what's going on with the market. Love it, do it, check it out. Now, what else do I suggest? You need to narrow where you're looking. That's the thing. It's so easy. And I see it with clients all the time where they're like, well, I can live anywhere in this county. Okay, what neighborhoods do you like? Well, I like this one neighborhood. Okay, let's look there. Well, there's nothing in my price there. So I've been looking everywhere. Okay, have you driven to those areas? No, I've just been looking on the map. Have you ever gotten groceries in those other areas? No, I've just been looking on the map. So I would argue that your search area, it shouldn't be a city, it shouldn't be a county. I wouldn't even have it be a town. I am a big believer in drawing bubbles of the specific areas that you want, and you need to visit them first. If you haven't been in the area, if you haven't gotten out of the car and walked around and deemed that you would live there, stop looking there. And if people go, well, but I want to look. Dude, if you don't have the energy, I know I'm getting a little unprofessional. If you don't have the energy to drive there and look around on the biggest purchase of your life, right? Come on. We're just being lazy now. And it plays head games. That's the problem. It plays head games because you're like, oh, I really want to be in this neighborhood, but I can only get a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. But this other neighborhood, I can get a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. But when you actually go to that neighborhood, it's not where you want to be, and you've spent the last 3 months watching this neighborhood on Zillow or Realtor.com. Don't do it. It's a waste of time. Get hyper-focused. Now, the next thing I hear is, but Jen, there's nothing for sale in the areas that I want. Once again, we're going to go back to that sold button. That's right, because in most parts of the country, that sold button is going to tell us when the house is sold. And what you'll see is that in specific areas, there's more sales around a specific time of the year, whether that's spring, summer, or fall. So that tells you, okay, there may be more inventory then. Really important, really important. And if you're like, nothing ever sold there, Jen, go walk around the neighborhoods. Seriously, I say this to people and half the time they think I'm crazy, and I'm not, because I've had clients get houses this way. If there's a neighborhood you want to live in, start going walking there after work every single day. Just walk around the neighborhood. Look, we all need exercise, and you can look at all the different houses. And if someone says to you, hey, you're not from here, what are you doing? You just go, I really want to live in this neighborhood. So I'm hoping that at some point, literally, I bump into someone and they know someone who's going to be selling a house. Do you know anyone? I just love this neighborhood so much. You would be surprised. People want to help people. They really do. And being around when stuff's happening, you might be walking by, the first day a sign's up. You might be walking by and see a moving van, right? And you can call your real estate agent if you have one and be like, hey, I saw a moving van on 123 Johnson Street. Get on it, right? Go door knock, figure it out. Real estate agents can often in many places look up who owns the house. Let's get them a letter quick. There's opportunity. That's the whole point of this. And look, I could go on for days. I'm going to be covering more tips because I'm going through this right now. I will say one thing to part with that is the most important thing. They're all equal, right? Homeowners insurance quote. I can't stress it enough. It's really simple. There's parts of the country where you need to get a homeowner's insurance quote before you see a house and before you fall in love. I've had that happen so much recently in Florida where it's like, I'll look at a house and I'm like, oh, this looks so nice. $20,000 in insurance. It's not even in a flood zone. It's not even in a flood zone, guys. It's not even near water. So there's parts of the country, Louisiana, Oklahoma, tornado alley, fire areas. If you see a house that you're really kind of stalking online, because we all have that house, right? I do. I've got 2 that I'm watching every single day right now. I haven't seen them yet because I'm not sure, right? But, I'm watching them like a hawk. So here's the thing. Get the homeowner's insurance quote. For example, with those 2 houses, I did get homeowner's insurance quotes and they were offensive. They were truly offensive. So unless there's a price drop, I'm not going to be jumping on those, but I'm able to make the decision, right? And that's what you want to do. So just to go through it again, what are we going to do? Number 1, we're going to see if the seller's crazy. Is that price even based on anything, or are they just hoping you're a lotto ticket? You're going to draw your area. You're going to look at current prices versus sold. Okay. The next thing is if you're like, there's no data, there's no sales, I don't know what to do, you're going to look at if there's a certain time of the market when people sell. You're going to get a homeowner's insurance quote to make sure this house will be within your ballpark. And I know a lot of people go, oh, it's just Florida. It's really not. You know, it's Oklahoma, multiple states where it's important to get a quote. So those are my tips for today. I'm going to have more as I go, but you know, with the neighborhoods, remember, before you start stalking a neighborhood, take the time to drive through it and walk around to see if you really want to live there. Thanks for watching.